Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am filming my November wrap up, which I wanted to get up before Vlogmas, so I'm filming it really fast. You should be proud of me. November was Believeathon month. I finished Believeathon with 38 books and 11,330 pages. Now granted, Believeathon was only 30 prompts, so only 30 of them was for Believeathon, but I did manage to read some other books that I had to read for like my own reading challenge, etc. And of course I will talk about every single book here. Yes, we will be here for ages. Please watch the whole video for my dearest efforts. The best thing here is that I don't need to talk about every single book. So let's get the other shit out of the way first. If I can find anything, I have an enormous book pile underneath me. So the first 4 reads for the month was actually not for Believeathon. It was for my own seasonal challenge, which is Gotathingforseason. That wrap up is already up on my channel, so I don't need to talk about these books here. We have Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon, The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter, The Iron King by Julie Kagawa, and An Emotion of Great Delight by Tara Murphy. All these I talked about in my Gotathingforseason wrap up. Then in between that, I actually read 2 manga because they fit. So I read The Girl from the Other Side, volume 8 by Nagabe. This one continues this story, and it basically is set in this world where the humans live on the inside, where like they are hiding from like this virus thing, while the monsters live on the outside and like, sorry. They need to like, you know, a single touch can give you like the virus, which will kind of turn you into a monster thingy. Then we follow Shiva, who lives on the outside, who has still not gotten the virus. Virus is the wrong word for it. I don't know why I'm calling it a virus, but it's a really atmospheric story, really beautiful, quite sad and a bit depressing. But yeah, I'm finally continuing, and I'm only like 3 volumes behind, and then actually this series is done, so that would be nice to finish it. I've just been reading it for years, so it would be nice. And then we have Flying Witch by Chihiro Ishizuka, and this one is volume 7, and this one just basically follow the witch Makoto, and she goes and lives with her family like a bit out in the country and does witch stuff, and there's like really slice of life, different like cases in every little story, and it's really cute, and we just follow her being a witch. And it's very adorable and nice. Sorry, I'm looking at my thing to see what else I read that was not Believeathon. Okay, there's only 2 more. So I also read A Memory of Light by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson. I was supposed to finish this the last month, but since I didn't, I finished it now in November, of course, and listened to this on the audiobook. And I have a full video where I talk like my overall thoughts of the series. But overall, this is the last book in the Wheel of Time. I was very sad, but also like I am happy I'm done, because like it feels like an achievement, and like I am like, I don't want to read the series forever, but it feels like I did. Wrapping up the story and wrapping up the characters was completely and utterly devastating, but also like I am happy but sad. I don't know how to describe it, but like there was many emotions. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was really good final. I'm emotional forever. But again, more thoughts in my full review. I will leave it down below. And then another book that I didn't read for Believeathon, which I was forced to read on a Princess Sprints, like in the weekend before the month ended. It's called The Perfect Poo by M.G. Edwards, and it's about a woman who poops and actually falls in love with a poo and starts being together with it. I read it for shits and giggles in the Prince to tell the others my thoughts. It's like 23 pages. I still count it as a book, because short novella story thing. And I read it, and I don't have any ratings to give it, because like, what do you want me to say? It was a bit nauseating. It was weird. I don't understand why it exists, but it does. So there's that. Let's not talk more about it. Now we can go into my Believeathon books. I don't know, I'm not going in the order of the challenges. I think I'm going to go in the order that I read the books, but then mixing them up as well. So this is going to be weird. So I'm going to talk about series together. So then we have the whole manga series, which is written by Rune Eliassen, who is a Norwegian author. And I reread these. These were like my childhood faves, and obviously they're for 3 different challenges. So the first one was for a book that has illustrations, which it definitely does. And then the second book was for so many challenges. Read a book from childhood, which it definitely was. And the third book was read a scary book. It's kind of scary because it gives people nightmares. So I just counted it just because I could. But overall, like, they're really quick reads. I read these while like reading other books, like fast after I read the other ones I want to read. That was a sentence. But it was really enjoyable to read them again, even though I'm sad we don't get like a proper wrap up, because it was supposed to be a 4th book, but then it never came. Still enjoyed the story a lot. I do think the second book was my least favorite, just because like not much happened, but the third book is really good, and the first book is good too. Just a really, really nice horror series for me. Reviewing it as an adult, I have more thoughts, maybe more like negative on the side, just because I can see now flaws in the story that I didn't see before, but childhood me is not letting me, so yeah, that's all. Then I read Percy Jackson and Olympians the Demigod Files, which is like a companion book to the Percy Jackson series, and this one is for the challenge to read a short book, and this was like 150 pages or something, and basically it's just 3 short stories in this Percy Jackson world, and this was really actually nice to read right before I started Heroes on Olympus, because it had some contents in there, it had some interviews with the characters and stuff, and it was really cute, and short little thing, like it's not much more to say. I think I gave it like 3.5 out of 5 stars. I then read Sentrifugalkatastrofen, which probably has an English title, but I don't know it. But this is the 6th and final book in the Believathon series, which is like following Believathon, who is like super smart and he gets all like codes and stuff, and then he fights like about a whole like evil guy to have to defeat and many other different things. It's really cold, by the way. I need like to have a pillow on me because I'm freezing. And then this wraps up the story finally, I would say. But it's been a fun ride. It's just like been inconsistencies that doesn't make sense to me as an adult brain. But I think as a kid, you can just have lots of fun with it. Oh, to be an adult. It's no fun. Can the curtain not be in the frame? That's all I want in life. Please go away. Okay. Either way, this challenge was to read a book that starts with like the same letter as your name. My name is Sandra, starts on S. But yeah, overall I was actually a bit disappointed in the series final. Like it's not like I expected like a lot, but I have had fun with the series. But overall, like the ending is the kind of ending I hate. Emphasis on the word hate. So it ended up like not being it for me. I was really pissed by the end. So like 3 out of 5 stars. Maybe less when I think about it now. But at least I finished a series, so there's that. Read some couple of Norwegian books apparently. That's fun. So I'm gonna take this whole thing together if I can find all the books. Saving me some time. I read a whole Kane Chronicles by Rick Riordan. The first book I had read before, and the other 2 I haven't. So I finally finished the Kane Chronicles. That was kind of nice. First book was for the challenge to read an adventure, which it definitely is. The second book was for the challenge to read like a book with your favorite color, which is purple. This one is quite purple, as you can see. And the third book was to read a book, I think it is with a creature in the title. And it has Serpent in the title, so that's a creature. So yeah, I read all 3 of them. I have to say I really enjoy how these are written. Sadie and Cartner are siblings, and they're like, it's written like they are recording it, like in like a microphone, and then like an author has like found it and written the story out. So I really like how like they keep breaking the fourth wall, as they call, and like giving out the story and talking directly to the reader. I think that's really fun. And of course I love, you know, going on an adventure, meeting different Egyptian mythology. Mythology, that sounds weird, but you know what I mean. You know, just saving the day, and just the characters here really makes the story. I think they're really, really fun and hilarious. I enjoy myself a lot. I think like there's still hints in the end, by the way, in the third book, that like it could be more, because it says like the story is not over. So I think eventually it might be more, not necessarily maybe direct sequels, but maybe these will meet more of the other books or something. I don't even know. I know they have like a crossover short story, but you get what I mean. So we will see what the future brings in this series. But overall, I had a lot of fun with Rick Riordan. Don't love it as much as Percy Jackson, but it's definitely enjoyable, and I'm glad I finally read them. I had these for years now, so it was nice to get them out of my TBR. I then read Darren Circus du Freak by Darren. And this one I read for the challenge to read a book that was adapted, and obviously there's that horrible movie that we pretend don't exist for this. But basically, it follows Darren, who meets a vampire. I didn't remember that it was written so like really like in that age group, because it ends every chapter with like a cliffhanger with a what's it called, like with an emphasis, but I don't remember what it's called in English right now, because I know the Norwegian word, but I don't know what the English word in this second. Either way, it ends every chapter with that. It's like, oh my god, there is a spider, and then like it ends, and it's to keep like, you know, someone reading, and I think that's really adorable. It was just like a bit much for me as a reader now. But yeah, overall, the story is a bit, I would say, underdeveloped in certain areas. A bit like, this person is supposed to be mean, so we're just gonna make him mean, but I don't think we really had a reason for it, etc. But I do think it's still enjoyable, very fun. So yeah, I gave it like 3 out of 5 stars, but I really, really enjoyed these books when I was younger, and I am excited to read the whole thing, because it's such an ordeal. It's so much drama and stuff, and it makes it like the whole thing is worth it, but it's really fun to think about now, all the things that will happen, so I will continue. Then I started Land of Stories by Chris Colfer. This is called The Wishing Spell, and this follows two kids that enters a fairy tale book and meets all known fairy tales that we know, not all of them, but a lot of them, and then they need to find like ingredients for a spell to go back home, and it's very, very, very fun. Totally up in my area of the kind of stories I like. It's just written in a fun, entertaining way, meeting all these different stories, going out on this quest. It's just so much fun. And this was for the challenge to read a book with a map. Really enjoyed it. And I'm very excited to continue actually, and I'm very pleasantly surprised by this. So 4 out of 5 stars. I actually came to reading slump at this point, not because of the book I was reading, but because I had to do school for like a whole week, so I only got to read like a few pages every day and had so many books left. It was really bad for like the rest of my reading. Luckily for me, I did some sprints on my own channel, and I was on Pris's channels as well, so that really helped me to be able to reach my goal. But really, it was really terrible timing to be in a reading slump. Not reading slump as in I didn't want to read, I didn't have time to read it, maybe the right answers and maybe not a reading slump then, but you get my point. The next book I read was My Life as an Ice Cream Sandwich by E.B. Soboy. This one was 250 pages long, and I used like 3 days on it, and I should have used 1. This is what I remember when I'm thinking about you, joking. But the book itself was enjoyable, and it follows our little kid. What's she called? A Bonnie Grace, and she has to go and live with her father because her grandpa's like currently kind of involved with different things. I don't want to spoil what the grandpa is doing, but basically she lives now in a new life in Harlem, in New York, and she's like, doesn't like it. She wants to go home, and she meets different people. There's drama, and basically she lives in her own head a lot. She thinks she's like on a mission, kind of like space mission, and she thinks she's going to defeat this evil person, and everyone's like, can you stop? It's really childish. It was a bit difficult to read actually, because it was really difficult to like read inside her head, because it was really like complicated, and then like other people were like not, because it went so much back and forth kind of. So I had a bit troubles with how it was written because of that, just because it was a bit confusing or like a bit much at times to be stuck in her head, even though I do get like that is exactly how she was, so it makes sense, but I had troubles with the writing. But yeah, overall we ended up with a really nice story about friendship and family and other sad things, and I do think like the book was definitely worth reading, and I did enjoy it, but I didn't love it, so I ended up giving like 3 stars. But like I had enjoyable parts, but also the writing was difficult. I then started the Nevermoor series, so I read The Trials of Morgan Crow and Wundersmith, The Calling of Morgan Crow, which is the first and second book in this series. So the first book I read for the challenge to read an anticipated book, which it definitely was, and this one was my most recent purchase at the time when I made my TBR. That was why I chose that one. Yeah, overall, the first book just followed Morgan Crow, who has been cursed all her life and thinks she's gonna die on the day of her 11th birthday, but something other remarkable things happens. I don't know. I didn't know more than that going in, by the way. I had no idea what else it was about, but I don't know how much but like to spoil, because it is right here in the synopsis, but I didn't know that because I never read the synopsis. I only read the thing that she's gonna die. But yeah, this was really fun, introduction to the world and stuff, and like for trials and different things, so I did enjoy this. But the second book was superior. It was so good. It had like much more like deeper depth to it, I think, and like different like parts. That was different parts that made the story interesting to me, and I think it would just get better and better now. So like I did enjoy Nevermoor, but I really enjoyed Wundersmith, and yeah, I gave both like 4 to 5 stars, but this one is like closer to 5 stars than this one. But yeah, I am enjoying myself. I'm really happy I started it, and I am excited to read the third book, hopefully next year. I then read The Last Life of Prince Alastor, which is by Alexander Bracken. It's his second book in this series, and the first book was the dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding, which follows a boy who has a demon inside of him, and this one continues that story. And overall, like, it's been many years, at least like 2 years or something, since I read the first book, so I will admit that I had not remembered everything. But I don't know if it's because it's been such a long time, or just like the story didn't capture me that much, or it's just because it's a sequel. But overall, like, I didn't enjoy this as much as the first one. I thought the first one had like a lot of personality and really hilarious moments, while this just didn't. I was quite bored throughout the whole thing, and I kind of just wanted it to be over. So I ended up giving like 3 stars, 2.5. And I don't really have much more to say, so we can move on. We have so many books, so it's fine. Oh, that was for the challenge. I keep forgetting to say to set in a faraway place, because the beginning of the book at least is set somewhere you don't want to be. I can say that. Then I read Run Pirates, book 1 and 2, which is books I read before, but I need to like reread these so I can actually finish the series at some point, hopefully next year. And the first book was for the challenge to read a book about a sibling relationship. It follows twins, so it makes sense. And the second book was for the challenge to read a book featuring water, and you know, we are following pirates. They are on the ocean. Actually, like, the future water more in the first book than the second book, so that would have been more fitting if we switched the challenges around, but that's fine. So basically, we're following the twins, Grace and Connor, and they get lost at sea, and one is picked up by a pirate ship, the other one is picked out by a vampire pirate ship. That's a sentence. And like, they get involved in these worlds. One becomes a pirate, the other one is really drawn to the vampire ship. It's a whole thing. I really, really loved them when I was a kid. I'm sad to say I don't love them as much now. You shouldn't read childhood faves, right? But the point is that I want to read them again because I want to finish the series, because I never finished it. And I can still see all the enjoyable parts that like I liked. I just generally, I think, don't like the writing that much. It like makes a story that could have been very compelling a bit boring. I don't hate them or anything. I think they're still really enjoyable, but like not as enjoyable as I was when I was younger. So like 3 stars to both of them, I think. But like overall, I did have a good time. It's just like I could see the story progress in a different way, and I'm just like, oh, this is how it went. That's weird, but yeah. I then read Peter Pan, which was my audiobook, and this one was read by Lily Collins, so that was really nice. And I never read Peter Pan before. Obviously I've seen the movies. It was an experience. I got to say that what I'm most surprised about, and it's really weird reading classics knowing so much about them but actually not knowing the complete story, but what I'm most surprised about is that Peter is a complete and utter asshole. I loved him, like I had a crush on him, and he's actually a little brat. That surprised me the most, but it shouldn't have, but it did. And I kind of hated him and detested him, which made the story difficult. I do still think that it has some beautiful adventure parts, and I still like the themes of the, you know, never growing up and just living like a kid forever and all those stuff. I do think like there's some beauty in it, but it's still weird. But also the ending, I didn't expect either. It was quite sad actually, and I was surprised by how sadness I felt for it. But it was really interesting to read a classic that, you know, I've been knowing forever. And now I read it, so now I can say I read Peter Pan, so that's great. And I gave it like 3 out of 5 stars. So the next one I read was The Lost Hero, which is the next series in the called Camp Half-Blood World, is that what it's called, by Rick Riordan. And I don't know actually what this series is about. I just know that it takes in Roman mythology, and that's all I knew. And this one we follow 3 new heroes, and it was fun to meet them, even though like when they were on the adventure itself, I was a bit like, I'm not that interested right now. I just want to get like the reveals. And then we did, and I am so excited to read the second book and see where the whole story leads. It's so fun to see like how he have evolved the world, and I'm excited. So yeah, I gave it like 3.5 out of 5 stars. Not my favorite, but I still really, really enjoy myself, and I'm excited to continue, which will be in December. Probably in Vlogmas, you will see me read it. And then I read Our Shah and the City of Gold by Roshan Chakchi, which is the 4th book in the Pandava series. It will be 5 books, I think. Hopefully. So we end next year. And this one just followed the adventure of Aru, who, you know, the whole series is based on Hindu mythology. That's what I meant to say. You know, just going to keep continuing the adventures. I don't want to spoil it, but we meet many different creatures and parts of mythology. And the humor here and how it's written, it is so me. And it just really clicks for me. So I really enjoy it, of course, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read Amari and the Knife Brothers by B.B. Alston, and this one is the 4th book in this series, and it follows Amari, whose brother is missing, and then she like is joining this investigation supernatural place thing. I said it the other way around, but it's fine. And she has like a really good ability for it, and then like she's trying to find her brother. It's just really fun. This was my favorite for the whole month. I just love how it's written. I loved Amari as a character. I loved just learning about the world, and I'm really interested to see how the story will go on. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, almost 5 stars. And yeah, I really recommend this. And then read Frostheart by Jamie Littler, and I will admit that I thought I would absolutely love and adore this, and while I did enjoy it immensely, it wasn't exactly as enjoyable as I thought it would. It was like a bit more, I was guessing, it's a tropey than I thought it would be, but I really liked the setting and atmosphere. We set in like this really wintry place, that's a sentence, and they're getting like attacked by like, they can't go out because they get attacked when they go out, and our main character can kind of like sing to them to control the different things that attacks them. That's a horrible explanation, but my brain cannot explain this. And like it's really like beautiful atmosphere with found family, and I really really enjoyed that part, and I did enjoy that main character. And of course I will keep reading it serious because I want to see how it ends and how it goes. But overall, like I didn't adore it completely, so like 3.5 out of 5 stars I think. But like it has really cute illustrations and stuff, and it was a really fun read. But yeah, I just thought it would be like 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know why. So there's that. Have I forgotten to say the challenges for like the last 4 books? Haven't I? Oops. So the last hero was to continue a series, so I continue now with Percy Jackson. Our Shah was for a read book released in 2021, which it was, of course. And then Amari was for the challenge to read a Gavin recommendation. I know he really enjoyed it, so I read that. And then Frostheart was to read a book with winter wives, which it definitely has. It's set in a winter place, so it makes sense. So yeah, sorry, I'm going a bit fast because I want this to be over. And then I read The Insiders, which I would now say the challenge I want. And it was to read an own voices book, which it definitely was. So Mark, who wrote it, is very queer, and this was very queer as well. And it basically follows our main character Hector, and he is gay and has moved to San Francisco where everyone was really open and happy and like didn't care about it that much. And now he moves to a place where it's really tiny and people are, you know, homophobic, and he's being bullied hard every single day. And then this room appears that he feels really safe in and can hide in, and it turns out that this is a magical room where he meets other people that also have different struggles, and they all help each other with these different struggles. It's really really beautiful about friendship and like this magicalness of this room. So I thought this would be like a complete contemporary, but it had the magical realism aspect of this room because, you know, it doesn't happen in real life, sadly. But it was really, really, really cute. I really enjoyed it. I was surprised by like how soft I felt on the inside reading it. It really like hit the punch of where we wanted to go with like his family and like his friends and just like new friends and like the older themes of like, you know, bullying and stuff. And I just felt so much for the story, so it's really good. 4 out of 5 stars. Really recommend this if you heard about it and haven't read it. And then for the next challenge to read a contemporary, we have A Boy Called Hope by Laura Williamson. This one I had on my TBR for 150 billion years, and basically follows Dan Hope, whose father left them, and he lives like 20 minutes away and doesn't want anything to do with him, and he keeps writing him letters, and like he really struggles with the fact that, you know, his father left him. His mom has a new boyfriend, and like they're struggling with like trusting him and stuff. Obviously, I would say that's pretty understandable. And then that's how the story develops. So overall, I didn't like how this book was written. I liked the different themes in it, but I don't think like the story was executed that well for me. So I ended up giving like 3 out of 5 stars. I think like I would have found it much weirder if I read it when I was a bit younger, but it was okay. And then for the TBR Veteran Challenge, I read Artemis Fowl by Ian Colfer. This one has been on my TBR for like since I was in children's school, so it makes sense. Even though I bought a new copy to read it in English for Believeathon, but it's fine. Just follow Artemis Fowl, who's really smart. His father's gone missing, and he's trying to get like money back for his empire because like they've been losing a lot of money. And then he does this kidnapping to do it, and it just basically was that. I didn't know that it had fantasy aspects in it. I thought it was only like he's super smart, but it had, because it literally kidnapped a fairy. So there's that. And overall, I do think I would enjoy this much more when I was younger. I do think that. But overall now, I didn't really enjoy it that much. I thought it was underdeveloped in the world building, and like it was really like, oh, he's smart and I know, and that's it. It didn't make me care for Artemis at all, this book. I just like didn't care what was happening. So I gave it like 2 out of 5 stars or something. Maybe less. I gave everything 2 out of 5 stars that I felt mad about, because that's what I do. But in reality, maybe some of them are 2. Who knows? And then for the challenge to read a 5-star prediction, I read Bobla by Sia Patterson. This one is like my favorite Norwegian author, basically. So I thought it would be a 5-star. It wasn't, but it was really close. It was a 4.5. It was because of the ending. That's why. So basically, this follows Kina, who feels like she is like has a horrible life. She's being forced to go to school. She's being forced to do this and that, and she just hates that people force her to do all these things and thinks everyone is horrible. People bully her and stuff, and she like hates it, and like everything is terrible. And then this bubble appears that she can go inside of, and no one else can enter it. So she can just fly around this bubble with a toilet, and like it gets her everything she wants. And she flies around in it and is safe in there. No one can harm her. No one can do anything to her. But does she want to be separated from the outside? And I do think that those themes, those questions, like, it's good to be in there all alone. Is it worth it just because other people are bothering you? Like, I do think that those questions were like really interesting to like see explored, and like see that maybe she's not the good kid she thinks she is. And I think that it asked questions and had them answered in a really interesting way. And I do think that the concept of the book was really fascinating. And overall, like, I really enjoyed it. I do just think that the end was a bit like, I personally, like, really dreamed of that bubble. I was like, I kind of want it. I don't want to, like, work. I don't want to do anything. But then, like, it had another negative effects. So that was a bit sad. But I don't know. There was something in the end. I was like, that made me not give it 5 stars. But overall, like, it was a really solid book. So, 4 5-star prediction. It was pretty close. And then, for the chance to read a book with a 2-word title, we have Scorch Dragons, I'm Itching in My Face by Amy Kaufman. This is the sequel to Ice Wolves, and they basically follow these two twins. There's one pair of twins. I keep saying like 2 twins. It sounds like we have like then 4 people, but it's 2 people. Found out different things in the first book. Do I spoil it? I don't even know. But like Ice Wolves and Fire Dragons. And we continue that here. There's like a battle between them. It's been for many years. I want more to say. In here we like go and search for stuff, and it was okay, and I try to solve things, but I'm questioning how to try to solve things. It doesn't really make sense to me. But I read a book and it was okay. 3 out of 5 stars maybe. It was a terrible review because I don't really know what to say about this. But I will read the 3rd and final book eventually, because I do want to finish the series. And then I read Frogkisser, which was for the challenge to read a cover by, which it definitely was, because I saw this in the bookstore when I bought it, and I thought it was pretty, and then I bought it. This is a standalone. We're set in this world where like sorcerers just change people into animals every time they don't like them, basically, which is bad. And then our main character, who is a princess, needs to help her sister change her like beloved into a human again, but they can only do that with a true love kiss. But she doesn't love this dude, obviously. She needs to like go and make this like lip balm that like you could take on, and if you're a princess you can kiss someone and they would be changed back even though you're not in love with them. So it's basically like a quest story for going out to do this, and like it was fun. Like I like the adventure / fairy tale feel of it, but overall it was a bit like hippity hoppity for me. So I ended up like giving it 3 out of 5 stars. But now at least I read it. It's been on material for ages, so there's that. I was like tone in my voice, like going like forever sentence I say. But it just happened. And then I read a book that might surprise you, which is Alma Freng and Solfangerne, which is like the name, and then like sun capturers, maybe a word. This is Norwegian middle grade, and a book that might surprise you. It truly did. I didn't think I would enjoy it because I was like, this sounds nice, but like I didn't even read the synopsis before buying it. I looked at the cover in the store and I bought the book. So there was that, because it was on sale. And it was really good. This had all the different elements in a middle grade / fantasy that I enjoy. So we follow, Alma Freng, and she finds out that she is a sun capturer. They can stop and slow down time, and they can fly. And that's all I need in life. And like there's like, evil that they're trying to fight, of course. Not evil, but like a douchebag person. And she learns about her powers. And I think the powers and like the world building was really cool. I think the characters was great. Our main character, her dad, her grandma. And like I didn't, as I said, know anything about the synopsis before going in. And like now I said kind of what it's about, so you would know what to expect if you decide to pick it up now. But me, I didn't know a single thing, and I enjoyed every single page, not knowing anything, not reading a synopsis. It was so great. It was really magical. And it says here behind it that it is a debut, and I'm very impressed by it. Apparently there's a sequel. I thought it was a standalone, but I saw it in the bookstore the other day that it's a sequel. I need to read it, but I'm waiting for it to come on sale because Norwegian books are so expensive. Come on sale next year, so I will probably get to it then. Really enjoyable. Very surprised by how much I like it. 4 out of 5 stars. I do think the beginning was stronger than like the conflict in the end, but overall, I'm impressed my feet, and I'm excited and happy that I read it. So that was really fitting for the challenge. Totally random. Oh god. You can't see it, I think, but the book pile is as per usual falling. The next book, which was La Belle Sauvage. I can't speak French, but oh, there's a bookmark inside of here. This is why they keep disappearing. I just leave my bookmarks inside my books. And this was for the challenge to read a long book, which was supposed to be over 250 pages. This was 570 or something, so definitely fit. This is the new series in his Dark Materials. This is the prequel kinda, before Lyra's story. And we follow Malcolm, who like meets her as a baby and basically takes care of her and saves her. We kind of do know how the story will go. So I didn't really get the point of this book as I was reading it, because I was like, but we know all this already. But I guess we're getting like the backstory, the context of it. I thought that was a bit of a weird choice. But overall, it was enjoyable though. Like, I liked it. Because like, as we got in part 2, it became like really fast paced and like really like fun adventure thingy. So I did have a good time in the end, and I gave it like 3.5 out of 5 stars. But I still like don't get completely the point. But I will read the second book, even though people say they didn't like that one, but I love this one. And since I've already feel Mare about this one, I don't know how I'll feel about the next one, but we will see. At least I read it, and I will finish the series. So there's that. And oh my god, we are at the last book. I really tried to speak fast, so I hope it went okay. So for last book is for the challenge. What's it called? Read a book released before 2021. So for that, I read Twice Magic, The Wizard of Wands, in that series by Cressida Colwell. And this one just is set in this world where like warriors and wizards hate each other and fight each other. But then we have a warrior and a wizard who become friends and fight the witches who are evil together. And it's just like adventure, full of fun and different creatures. And I listened to the audiobook while like kinda looking in the book, but not as much this time as I did in the first book, because it's illustrations and stuff. That is read by David Tennant, who is amazing. And I do really enjoy the series. I think it's loads of fun, middle grade fun that I want. I think the characters are really good. I think it's written in a creative way that I think is really fun. But yeah, it's a really good and solid series. 4 out of 5 stars. Not much more to say than that. I am done. We did it, everyone. I don't know how long time I took. Probably much shorter than I thought I would, because I talked really fast. I didn't really need to spend that long on each book. But I hope you enjoyed this video, which will be my last normal video before I post Vlogmas for 24 days. And then you will see me in a normal bookish video after then. But thank you so much for watching. Leave a jungle emoji down below if you enjoyed this. It has to be that, because Believeathon. I had a great time, even though I was stressed. But it was mostly stressed not because I picked 30 books. I mean, of course, because then I wouldn't be stressed. But it was mostly stressed because I didn't get to read for that 1 week, which like fucked up the whole rhythm I had, because I was doing so well. And then it ruined everything that 1 week, of course, because I had to read 1 book a day. But then suddenly I had to read 3 books a day to make it. That was stressful, but Sprint saved me. That's fine. But yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. You will see me soon in a new video. Goodbye.